I want to reiterate the message of the improvement in operating loss position from 18.4% margin last year to this year's 3.8%, even with those hits, is a remarkable performance. The second point is to say that when you hear us talk about the fact that the big challenge is how we structure our financing, that's where our focus is, because the financing part is the one that will define the long-term business part, and that's the one that is occupying ourselves today, both short-term and long-term. So Rome was not built in a day. When you're structuring and looking at restructuring a business, it takes time. And it's a joint effort of a lot of people, and so it's not something that will be achieved in a short period. What I can say is that we are seeing that we are putting today the building blocks of the long-term restructuring. I have told you this morning what we have done. We started with 4 actions which we had started from last year. We have built a turnaround plan. We have built a 5-year plan that has been challenged by external consultants. We have shared that, approved by the board and our shareholders, and now we are in the process of building a long-term capital plan. Those are things that are sequences that have to be done when you're doing a turnaround like this. From a West Africa point of view, we went back into Sierra Leone and Monrovia in the second half of this, fully in the second half of this half. Does that make sense? Because if you recall, we only fully re-entered into those markets after May. So, and we have seen a very good resurgence in terms of volumes in those markets and passenger numbers, but it is still taking time. When you talk about the rebound also, we have tightened capacity in the period. We cut back capacity by almost 8%, but revenues only dropped, RPKs only dropped by 2%, which shows that the drop in capacity was higher than the drop in revenues, and that's why you saw the cabin factor. The big point, as Alex mentioned, was how do you deliver the right yield for the volumes that you're actually serving? And that's where the pressure is, and that's the big focus for us, improving the yields, even in the face of the competitive pressures. From a debt point of view, again, just to reiterate, we have 2 types of debt that we have. We have short-term debt and we have long-term debt. We are working, first of all, to refinance the short-term debt and term out and extend the tenures of that short-term debt. We are in discussions with local banks on that, and we have made good progress. We are also in discussions, as Alex mentioned, on getting additional short-term debt, really just to cover our position right now. And at the same time, because capital raising takes time, creating a plan, a roadmap, which to the satisfaction of all our stakeholders in terms of the long-term capital raise. And that is a process. That is a stage where we are at. All these things have to be done in sequence and don't happen immediately. So it has to be a step-by-step process.
We are very grateful for the support that we have received from the local banks, and we really appreciate that. But as Mbuvi has said, we are talking to them in terms of terming out the short-term loan from 1 year to 7 years. The majority of them have already given us positive indications. So when we look at this balance sheet at the end of next year, we expect that the short-term portion of the borrowing will have reduced by 25 billion as we convert the short-term facilities today into a longer-term tenure.